Wait, can you give me 1 second? I just want to see how the clerk is done. We still have a minute. Hold on. You know why? Hold on.
I'll call this meeting to order. Tonight our invocation will be done by Commissioner Wilkins and Pledge of Allegiance by Commissioner Kaczynski. Mr. Wilkins.
Heavenly Father, our God, we come before your presence tonight, first of all, just to say thank you. We thank you, oh God, for this blessed opportunity to represent the people of this city. We pray, Father God, as we go through this evening, that you will give us knowledge, wisdom, and understanding. We pray, Father God, for not only this board members, Father God, but for our staff. We ask a special blessing on Chief Willis and his entire police force, Father God. We ask, Father God, you will wrap your arms of protection around them as they go out every day to protect and serve. We thank you, O God, and we love you. And it is in the mighty name of Jesus. For you, our Lord, Savior, and Redeemer, we pray. Amen. Amen.
All right, Madam Clerk, roll call.
Commissioner Wilkins.
Present.
Commissioner Albright.
Here.
Mayor Pro Tem Gleason.
Here.
Commissioner Kaczynski.
Present.
Commissioner Way.
Present.
Mayor Wheeler.
Here.
Thank you.
All right, we move on to item 4, approval of agenda. Is there any additions or subtractions to tonight's agenda?
Make a motion, we approve the agenda as presented.
Commissioner Kaczynski.
I would like to add one more item to the closed session under the heading of personnel.
Okay. All right, Commissioner Kaczynski.
That's it, I'm sorry.
Okay. All right, let me get where I need to be. All right, we have a motion made by the Mayor Pro Tem to approve the agenda with the addition from Commissioner Kaczynski. All those in favor say aye.
Aye.
Opposed, no. Motion carries 5-0. Let me make a quick note of that. 5-0. All right, I entertain a motion for the consent agenda.
So moved.
Motion is made by Commissioner Wilkins. All those in favor say aye.
Aye.
Opposed, no. Motion carries 5-0. All right. One thing before we move on a little further, if I can find my notes here. You all had a 2-page handout that was left on your desk from our water and sewer infrastructure. Thank you. Infrastructure and economic development. I had these printed up. I know Mayor Pro Tem was there and I was there, just so that those who couldn't make it have a copy of what we received.
Thank you, Mr.
Thank you.
All right, at this time, one of my favorite parts of this job.
The only part of one.
All right, let's see, where are we? You got something there? All right. At this time, Miss Amanda, would you join me up here, please? That is a request from your mayor, so. Actually, I'm not your mayor, but.
Well.
All right. And I hope I got most of this right. All right. Whereas Amanda Dixon worked for the Butler Creedmoor News and reported on the happenings of the city of Creedmoor for more than 15 years. And whereas Amanda's parents were Camilla Dixon and Richard Alton Dixon, is that correct? And whereas Amanda graduated in 1977 from South Granville High School and is a graduate of UNC Chapel Hill, is that correct? Okay, we're kind of winging this as we went. Amanda played softball for South Granville High School as a catcher and is a big Tar Heel fan. And whereas Amanda loves to read and loves her 4 cats, and currently works as sports editor for the News and Observer for the Ledger News in Oxford. Whereas Amanda was recognized for her talent and dedication on September 23rd, 2025 by the Nebraska Press Association, and she received the North Carolina Press Association Award for sports coverage published in the Butler Creedmoor News. Now therefore be it proclaimed that as mayor on the behalf of the city of Creedmoor, I thank Miss Amanda Dixon for her dedication to the city and commend her on her editorial achievements. And we have this. Here you can say a few words if you would like.
Just thank you all. I love being here in Creedmoor tonight. It's lots of fun to be back here, and thank each and every one of you. Couldn't do what I do without you guys being so supportive. So thank you.
Chief.
Which one?
That's a great question.
Chief, I'll call on you when we're actually getting close. All right. Whereas the city of Creedmoor is committed to ensuring the safety and security of all those living in Creedmoor and visiting, and whereas fire remains a serious public safety concern both locally and nationally, and the presence of lithium-ion batteries in many household devices introduces unique fire risks, and whereas most of the electronics used in homes daily, including smartphones, tablets, laptops, power tools, e-bikes, e-scooters, and toys, are powered by lithium-ion batteries, which if misused, damaged, or improperly charged can overheat, start fire, or explode. And whereas the National Fire Protection Association, NFPA, reports an increase in battery-related fires, underscoring the need for public education on the safe use of lithium-ion batteries. And whereas residents should follow 3 key calls to action: buy only listed products, charge batteries safely, and recycle them responsibly to prevent battery-related fires. And whereas lithium-ion batteries store a large amount of energy in a small space, and improper use such as overcharging, using off-brand chargers without safety certification, or exposing batteries to damage can result in fire or explosion. And whereas the proper disposal and recycling of lithium-ion batteries help prevent environmental hazards and reduce fire risk in the home and the community, and whereas the city of Creedmoor first responders are dedicated to reducing the occurrence of fires through prevention, safety, education, and community outreach, and whereas the 2025 Fire Prevention Week theme, Charge into Fire Safety, Lithium-Ion Batteries in Your Home, serves to remind us of the importance of using, charging, recycling lithium-ion batteries safely to reduce the risk of fires in homes and communities. Now therefore, I, Mayor Robert V. Wheeler, on behalf of the Board of Commissioners of the City of Creedmoor, do hereby proclaim October 5th through the 11th, 2025, as Fire Prevention Week throughout the city. In witness thereof, I have here to set my hand and call to be affixed to the City of Creedmoor this 6th day of October, 2025. And there's the proclamation. Thank you, George. And if you'd like to say a few words to the group here.
I would definitely like to say, Amanda, thank you for your help to the fire department for the number of years, for the different articles you put in there for the department, for sure. And everything you've helped us with throughout the years. The Father's Day, the things that we've done in prevention and to help promote prevention for Fire Prevention Week. And it's a very tight thing. And the last thing we'll ever have this year again is be coming out this week and told people to check your smoke detector, your carbon dioxide detector, check your batteries regularly, and do the things to help prevent in your home and even have a place to meet in the event of a fire and emergency. And I think it's very important that everybody exercises those things. So again, thank you for everyone's support. Thank you all.
Thank you, Chief. Thank you, Chief.
Thank you.
Thank you, sir. All right, at this time, we'll move on to 7A, District 5, Granville County Commissioner Russ May.
Good evening.
Good evening.
Thank you, Mayor Pro Tem Leeson, Mayor Wheeler, Commissioners, and City Manager. Thank you for the opportunity to speak to you all this evening. I wanted to take time to thank your board for the partnering with the county in a number of initiatives. I'm proud to represent our county and the City of Creedmoor. I am grateful for the opportunity to serve alongside of each of you. And I know that each of you love your city and you seek every day to work towards a betterment of your community. And the thing of really I wanted to talk to you about tonight, and just drifting off my comments here, is that, it's a wonderful community. And I'm proud of where we live and how we live and what we try to do here in the county and elsewhere. We're not perfect vessels. We're imperfect vessels working very hard to do the very best we can for those that we serve. But I just think all too often that's lost. And I'm hopeful that it can stop. The business can stop. And we can work together and find paths forward. But we have done that with the county and the city. And I think we've gone well beyond that, and we'll continue to do that because of the relationships we've built. Thank you, Board, for partnering with the county and working to provide a premier senior center in Southern Granville at your community center. This partnership allowed the county senior program to serve in August, just August now, of 2025, 579 meals to 32 homebound seniors in Southern Granville. 544 meals to seniors who were fed at the senior center, in addition to transportation provided and in-home services provided to numerous seniors within Granville County. I challenge you all to visit the senior center and witness the goodness of Granville and the love and care provided for our seniors. Thousands of meals that otherwise these folks would not be eating. We've also partnered to promote provision of grants to those in our community who may have difficulty in ensuring their homes are properly maintained and energy efficient. We're partnering to provide services to our veterans. And I want to thank you particularly, Mr. Turner, and the board for approving and graciously allowing us to use office space here at City Hall for our veteran services, where they meet with veterans of Southern Granville to making sure that they're receiving the services that they have earned and they deserve. Thank you for stepping up and being the first city assigned police officers to our schools, including funding one such position, SROs. You have 3, and we're thankful for that commitment. This step serves as a model of collaboration. Having a police officer from the community serving at the school is critical. It establishes a bond at the schoolhouse that can be taken into the summer, into the evenings, into the afternoon. So thank you for doing that. I appreciate the service of your board for serving and partnering with the county on the Upper Neuse River Basin Association in Campo. As for Upper Neuse River Basin Association, seeking to reduce the cost, the projected cost of Falls Lake rules, we're going into another step. That collaboration and that partnership is essential. In addition, worked alongside with this commissioner, both Commissioner Krasinski and the mayor on Campo, and the study that's ongoing now. And this study will help plan for and mitigate the impact of projected growth and help with planning and zoning ordinances to bring along a better path to economic development and infrastructure needs for our county. And by the way, we don't get funding just to get funding. It has to be attached to something. And in the case, it's attached to economic development. And again, I want to see us grow, but I want to see us grow and manage it responsibly. Thank you for collaborating with me to work with our legislature to bring about $40 million in funding to Saguaso. A lot of hours spent talking to legislators to get this kind of funding. It is needed for infrastructure upgrades. Again, a failing sewer system. I will note grant funding is not funding that can be reallocated to other projects. It's designated specifically for that project. You all work closely with the school board in the county on addressing school traffic issues at South Carolina High School and the former Holly Middle School. As for public safety, I'm thankful for the city's partnership with Creedmoor Volunteer Fire Department. Currently, the Creedmoor Volunteer Fire Department has the opportunity to receive up to $262,000 a year from the county, far exceeding the $80,000+ received just a few years ago per year. This fund is for responses within the county. This does not include city funding. City residents do not pay county fire tax. Being a retired from public safety, I can't thank you enough for the priority that you place both on your police department and your volunteer fire department. It's refreshing. Now I'd like to talk about what will be happening at the Holly Sports Complex or Community Complex. Presently, it's my understanding the school will be demolished late this year. We've already began discussions on what may be some possible opportunities on this site. Our county Parks and Recreation Board will be providing input, and I'm confident input will be received by the community as a whole, including your board and the people of Creedmoor. We are committed to having a site that will honor Mr. Holly and that will meet the recreation and other community needs, a multi-purpose site. I'm hopeful we can continue our partnerships between our planning departments and managers so the appropriate level of collaboration will ensure we're responsibly managing our growth. I'm disappointed in the constant rock throwing from other communities at our community for issues that are similar in both communities. I stand with you in wanting our community to stand up and do all that we can. It's okay to, I think we all took our position with the understanding that not everyone was going to agree with us, and that there would be times in which there would be disagreements. But I will admit to you that it is disappointing when I see rocks thrown from another municipality at this municipality and for the same issue but not dealt with.
Amen.
So that's disappointing. It doesn't have to happen. It shouldn't happen. I'm grateful to serve this community, and I just wanted to take the time to thank you all for the opportunity to serve you and for all the collaboration and partnerships and all the many things we do. It's not a week goes by that I haven't talked to one, two, or three of you, and that I'm in the city constantly. I take a lot of pride in Creedmoor, and I'm thankful to this community. I would welcome to entertain any questions if you have any.
Mr. Way, any questions?
Commissioner May, with the impending demolition of some of the old Holly School area, will the county open that facility up for training for our law enforcement and fire personnel before demolition takes place?
Prior to that, I really think that's going to take place probably in the next few months. And I know that they're having a difficult time, I shouldn't say difficult, but we are keeping it sealed up because we've had some vandalism. So, but I'm not aware of anyone making a request, but if they wanted to make a request and go to the county manager, I'm sure they can work through that. If not, then I'm sure if not, I'm sure there's a reason why they can't. So if anyone would want to work with them in that regard, just reach out to the county manager's office.
Thank you.
Commissioner Kuczynski.
The commissioner who was in your seat before you was not proactive because of his health. Talking about Owen Roberts. So this city has not seen the kind of cooperation and the working together that we have had since you have become our commissioner. And I thank you very much. It is a relationship that I cherish, and I know that I can always pick up the phone or send you a message and say, when you get a minute, can you call me? But I know that you work tirelessly for the city that you represent, and we would not have been able to do some of the things that we have accomplished without your help. And I thank you very much for always considering us when you are attempting to do anything that you do. I am proud to serve with you on the NERBA board and the Campo meetings, and I thank you very much.
There's two things I'd like to add that I didn't add. Thank you, Commissioner Kuczynski, for those kind words. We are working to get a 5310 grant for a southern loop. I think it's critical that we have some type of transportation between Butner and Creedmoor and throughout the county. Now, CARTS does that. They have a loop at Oxford, but your city manager and my county manager and the city manager of Butner have been locating places in which that may happen. I'm hoping that can occur. For years, we thought there was only one opportunity for a regional grant, but what I've learned from Congressman Knott's office is that actual region can be expanded. And so our hopes is for year 2027 is that we can launch or get close to launching additional services and transportation through a loop, through a guided transportation process. The Campo study, each of the county pays, I think, $12,000, $13,000, $14,000 a year to be a member of Campo. That study costs $300,000, and the county only pays $30,000 in direction of that. That is a tremendous offset, if you consider. And that's just not for roadways. That's for economic development. That's for water, resources, all the things that you look at on where we can better position ourselves as a community for the future.
Commissioner Wilkins.
Thank you for all you do. You represent the entire community, and it is appreciated.
Thank you, sir.
Commissioner Albright.
Thank you, Russ, for being here. Thank you for all your kind comments. We appreciate you, and we appreciate working with you as well.
Mayor Pro Tem.
Thank you, sir. We seem to meet one another 2 or 3 times a week at some meeting or wherever. It's, again, I'm just thankful that, and I've said this before you became a county commissioner, you attended this meeting for a year or more before you even ran. And when you ran, and also attended county meetings, when you ran for office, you knew what you were jumping into. When you got appointed to the Seguasa board last month, congratulations, you knew what you were jumping into because we're at those meetings and you know where they stand. So the bottom line is, thank you for what you do. Thank you for the time that you put into the job. Very important. Thank you.
Russ, it's always a pleasure to have you here, and I kind of echo what everybody else said. It's knowing that your local elected officials care enough to face-to-face time with you. I know we don't see that from the state, we don't see it from the federal government, and it's a real pleasure to see it from the county. So again, thank you for all you do. Yes,
sir. If I could finally thank you, Amanda, for all you do in reporting. I guess Amanda in a lot of ways symbolizes our community. And really, and there's no, I don't think there's anything she doesn't write about. But I'm thankful for her ability to put things in the paper, bring things to attention. One last comment. As you know, Commissioner Gleason and Mayor Wheeler, the county did a kickoff last weekend, that's October 4th, of our litter program. It's going to take all municipalities, and we're going to encourage you all to have a rollout. And and tell us what you're doing and put that together, and that'll be in the coming weeks or months. End of the day, litter is a problem in our county. We're actually addressing it. We have some funding set aside just for this, and we've actually reached out and got some corporate sponsors, and we'll get some more. So we really want the county as a whole, municipalities, all hand government and community, so we can do a little better job with our litter, and unfortunately, that may end up requiring some people to suffer some serious consequences, but that needs to happen to clean our community up. So thank you again. It's a pleasure working with you, and I take pride in this community, as I know you do, and I just wanted to have this opportunity to share with you some things that occurred, but most important, I want to share with you with the fact that it is not only just an honor, but it is, it's my grandson-in-law, best way to put it, my oldest granddaughter's husband, he does this thing called Bigfoot. And he does this thing called Bigfoot Pensacola. And he goes all over the country and does little things. And I said, you reach out to me. His good friend attends your church, Reverend Wilkins. And I'm really hoping that he'll do one soon. And I said, but you talk to me first, because we want to make sure that his representation really represents who we are. But I'm proud of you. And 60 days from now, the county and the Board of Education embarked on a joint project of redoing the South Granville High School gym, weight room, and the Oxford Web concession stand. South Granville High School's weight room will be back, at least that project completed in 60 days. And it is going to be a facility that will help all our student athletes and all our students. And it's going to be a first-class location. Again, partnering. And the Board of Education is doing that. And again, when that's completed, we'll start on the Oxford Web project. And I'm really hoping that you'll see some things happen in the near future regarding the track and field locations of both high schools. You're going to see us move quickly on some things, because we need to make sure that we provide our children with the best facilities possible that our budget can afford, but push the envelope to give them what they need, and so our public school system can thrive. Thank you.
Thank you, sir. All right. Move to 7B, update from the Granville County Human Relations Committee, the Reverend John Gooch.
Good evening to all of you.
Good evening.
Mayor Pro Tem, to all of you commissioners. I am deeply honored that you looked beyond my faults and gave me another chance. I am not late tonight, but I am on time. Thank you so very much. I will not be long before you tonight. I come tonight because since I was here last week, we've had a meeting and we are redoing the Granville County Human Relations Commission. We had a meeting and there's 14 seats, 2 per commission district, 1 state representative, 1 official for the county manager seat, and 6 local representative seats, 5 municipalities, and 1 school board. We're in a time and point now where recently we had some people that was taken off the Granville County Human Relations. We was a working committee. We was a committee working, striving throughout the county. But with the loss of those people, we don't have people now that want to work. We have people that maybe show up here and there. They shake their heads at meetings, but when time to come, put their feet to the road, we don't have that. The Granville County Human Relations have had a drop. Let me just say it that way. I'm not going to sugarcoat it. We've had a drop because we don't have people willing to put their hand to the job to get the work done. We was a commission that was involved in every time something, event come up, we had people volunteer that would go, would represent the human relations. Now, the only way we can do it is almost like a repeat. The same personnel have to go. and if they don't go, the commission does not get represented. But one thing I will say about the human relation is that the Graham County Human Relations is one of the few human relations across the state of North Carolina that is totally voluntary. Most of those human relations commissions get paid. We don't get paid. And recently, the state representative of the State Human Relations Commission retired a couple of weeks ago. And I attended that retirement for him, Gene Troy. And he recognized Granville County as their commission, as a volunteer commission, as one of the state represented the state human relations that was volunteer in the work that they had done. He had worked with us really, really hard. And so tonight, I just want to let you know that hopefully in the near future, at least by the beginning of the new year, we would like to have a representative that would come to the Granville County Human Relations from the commissioners here in Creekmore to work with us, not to sit and look and raise your hand, nod your head, but to come and actually work and be a part of that. We will get out some more information to you. Hopefully that we will be able to have everybody together by the first of the year. We know there's an election going across the county and the various municipalities. As soon as the board is filled with whoever's going to be serving, hopefully that you all will agree to send us a representative from that. Also, we're planning a crisis intervention workshop on November the 15th. We had applied for the grant. We got a grant for this. If we don't use it, we will lose it because there is no funds in the 2025 coming up year for this, or in the 2025-26 budget. And so if we don't use it by the end of this year, we're going to lose it. And it was already in plan by former State Representative Gene Troy. And so one of his representatives planned to come do it. We hopefully have all the information sent out to you in a couple of weeks so that you can attend. Please, somebody from here come attend. It's going to be from 10 to 1. And right now, we're hopefully planning in somewhere in the northern part of the county right now. That's what we're planning. And that's where we are. Lastly, I want to say this. I was deeply saddened. We had hoped that we could have a joint Granville County Martin Luther King breakfast. We had a person there working to get the sports arena in Butler. And I understood that they had reached out to the Creekmore commissioners. And I don't know exactly what happened or how that went. I don't try to get into all of that. But I understand at one time maybe you might have been on board, but then I understand recently that decided not to have to be a part. But one of the things that we're working, striving to, we want to bring our county together. It seems like we are divided, we're split at certain places. But as part of Granville County Human Relations, I am deeply troubled that we cannot work together. We can talk about issues, this and that, but when it comes time to work together, we seem to be divided. I remind you, we are all God's children. Let me put it that way. And God has blessed all of us for the reason of working together. We're in a time right now where we need to show our county, our community, that we are working together. I'm one that believes that hopefully that in the future that we can come together to show that we are working together. And that's where I'm at with that. And I'm really hoping that we can do this because of the fact the vision is already here. We don't need no more. We need to show, we need to be a light as commissioners, as municipalities, even as human beings, that we are working together for the betterment of mankind. We talk about one thing, but we do another. Now it's time to show up and to prove that we are about what we say we're about, for the betterment of Grandview.
Thank you, Ray.
Thank you, Reverend.
Commissioner Wilkins, any questions? Commissioner Albright?
No, sir.
Mayor Pro Tem?
Thank you.
Commissioner Kuczynski?
Thank you.
Commissioner Way?
Reverend Gooch, I appreciate you. I was with you every step of the way, sir. I voted to be with you and do the joint practice. I can only do so much, my friend.
And to, Mayor, I don't have one of those, plaques or anything to give you, but I do have a personal letter that I got to Cedar Creek on, whether you received one or not.
I actually got a copy somewhere in here, so yes, sir. And
very much.
we will fulfill Creedmoor's obligation in your HRC,
Yes,
Commissioner.
sir.
Thank you.
Let's see. All right, that took care of that. We move down now to item 8, public comment. Or did I miss one?
No.
When I'm hearing people whisper behind me, I think I missed something. Public comment, Mr. Darrell Moss.
Evening, everyone.
Good evening, sir.
Darrell, before you start, you know the rules, but just got to mention to you, 3 minutes.
Got it. My name's Darrell Moss. I will give you my primary address, 207 Cozart Street, and my secondary address is 206 East Lyon Street. Now, I give you those two addresses for a very specific reason. 207 is where I live. 206 East Lyon Street is where I live too. I am now retired, back in February or May, and since that time, I have become my mother's primary caregiver. And I will tell you, it is by far the hardest work I have ever done in my entire life. It is 24/7. She is in declining health, and I'm doing my very best to do everything in my power to keep her in her home. That is what I'm trying to accomplish. Very simple. But here's the thing. On the eve of National Night Out, I wanted to say this to you, and specifically to Chief Wheelis. He and I have had this conversation before. Since retiring, I've noticed something very interesting about my community, Lyon Street, Cozart Street. It is very quiet. It is very quiet. During the course of the day, I can just about count the number of cars that come by either my house or my mom's house on 2 hands, maybe 10 cars. And in light of everything, Reverend Gooch kind of alluded to it earlier, and even Russ May, our County Commissioner Rick May, with all that's going on in our state, in our country, I am very happy that our community is the way it is. We talk about a lot of things, sometimes the things that we don't have, but I can tell you, being able to sit on my front porch at 9 o'clock on a Tuesday morning, or Monday morning, that was today, and have a cup of coffee and not be fearful, I'm very happy about it. And I just wanted to personally thank Chief Wheelis for his work and for the work of the Creedmoor Police Department. Thank you, sir.
Thank you. All right, we move down now to item 9, old business. Contract award to MLB Construction Services. Mr. Frangos.
Good evening, Mr. Mayor, members of the board.
Good evening, Mike.
Mike Frangos, your Community Development Director. Tonight's item relates to the contract award for the construction of the new police department building, the renovation of City Hall. It's a major step in the bidding process, as you can imagine, the culmination here, hopefully awarding the contract to the lowest responsible and responsive bidder, which we previously identified as MLB Construction Services, LLC. They provided us with a base bid for a single prime contractor for $4,669,900. And with that, we're including, at alternate number 1, which is the renovation of City Hall, and at alternate number 2, which was the City Hall lighting. That additional lighting adds to the total, $25,000, and brings the new contract total to $4,694,900. Last meeting, some of you might remember, we discussed the deduct alternate, which was also a part of the bid, but that depends upon the water pressure that is uncovered there on Sanford Street. And if the water pressure provided by the system is adequate, there would not be a need for a fire pump, which would then cause the deduct of $80,000 from the total. But right now, that alternate is included in the idea that we do expect to need a fire pump, and therefore the total would be as previously stated. I want to let you know that substantial efforts were made to notify and distribute our bid opportunity to many plan rooms and many direct solicitations to almost 20 different general contractors and subcontractors by little diversified architecture. Unfortunately, MLB was only able to gain a very small percentage of the project awarded to minority, women-owned, or veteran-owned businesses. The contract term that's identified here is slated for 365 calendar days, and that will be from the date of the notice to proceed, which is not today. The notice to proceed will be still a week or so in the future, because there are some additional specifics for the contract signing, including bonds and insurance that still have to be squared away by MLB. The contract does include a liquidated damages clause of $500 per day, and that would be a penalty to the GC for not being able to deliver the contract by deadline. Not sure if there's any other questions or anything else that anybody would like to discuss, but the contract package is in your agenda. It's a standard AIA, Association of Architects, contract, so it's very straightforward. Did not include the 1,000 pages of specifications. I figured your packet was
Thank you.
plenty big enough.
Thank you. Thank you so much.
Didn't want all that. So I know we had trouble with this one. I imagine if we had to do that, we didn't want to go ahead and do that, but suffice it to say, in summary, all of the design work is included, all of the pages, et cetera, of the different design components are included in your packet, everything from plumbing, architecture, mechanical, audio-visual, telecom, fire alarm systems, civil, et cetera. Everything is included therein. So what we'd like to do, or the request here in the agenda packet, is for a motion to award the Police Department Construction and City Hall renovation contract to MLB Construction Services LLC for the total amount of $4,694,900. Any questions I can answer?
Mayor Pro Tem, any questions? Commissioner Albright.
No, sir.
Mr. Wilkins.
Just maybe I missed it. Define substantial completion date for me.
365 days from the date of the notice to proceed.
Thank
so
you.
1 calendar year.
And Mr. Mayor, although I did not vote to do this, but since it's been approved, when you want to, I will make the motion to award.
All right, sir. Commissioner Kaczynski.
Kevin's online, right?
Yes.
This is a Kevin question. Kevin, on page 34, it talks about employer's liability policy, limits of $500,000, and then the contractor is required to professional liability insurance of $2 million. Were you involved in those numbers, or is that standard? And if that amount of money, say an employee gets injured, and $500,000 is not enough, is the city responsible for the difference?
For incident, I think.
Talking to the ceiling?
Well, that's why.
That's why I read it. Is that for instance?
I'm sorry?
Hold it. Did you ask her a question?
Yes.
Could you ask it again so we all can hear it?
I thought I read that 500,000 was per incident. I could be wrong.
Each employee, it doesn't, oh yes, it does say each accident per employee, right.
I'm chatting with them on here and see.
The little that I know, I think the 2 million, 5 million was from our policy as far as the demand that the city has for this type of construction project.
The only reason I'm asking is, I know a man who fell off a roof doing a repair, and his injuries were over $3 million. And he sued because the limited liability was only $500,000. So my question to Kevin is that enough? It's per accident, per employee, or should we have some more? I just like to know ahead of time, because I don't want to be surprised.
I have, it says he's muted.
I don't have the.
It says you're muted, Kevin.
I hear him.
Can you all hear me?
We hear you now, yay.
Hello?
Yes.
Okay. Sorry about that, I don't know what was going on with Zoom, I've been trying to weigh in on this for the last minute or 2 years. So that liability, that insurance, liability insurance language is fairly standard. And that would be the limit of the policy, right? So, the city could not, let me back up. A plaintiff could not sue the general contractor for some sort of damage. And then if the general contractor, their insurance policy would not cover the dollar figure of the damage that the plaintiff is seeking, they could not then turn to the city to recover additional money from the city. Now, they might, and probably would, also name the city as an additional defendant in that lawsuit, in which case the city's liability insurance through the league would provide a defense attorney for that and would pay for whatever damages are awarded against the city. As a practical matter, under that sort of situation, it would be incredibly difficult for a plaintiff to successfully recover damages from the city for some conduct by the general contractor or subcontractor, but that's kind of how that sort of situation would play out.
Okay, thank you, Kevin, that's exactly what I needed to know.
Commissioner Way, any questions?
Yes, sir.
Mayor Pro Tem? No. Did I miss anybody? Okay. All right. All right, at this time, let me get back to where I need to be. Commissioner Wilkins, we need a motion to award the Police Department building construction and City Hall renovation contract to MLB Construction Services, LLC, for a total amount of $4,694,900.
Oh, I wanted to read that. So moved.
You can read it again if you want, it's all right.
All right, we have a motion by Commissioner Wilkins. All those in favor say aye.
Aye.
Opposed, no. Motion carries 5-0. Thank you, sir. Let's see, that was that one. All right, we move now to new business.
Again, Mike.
Granville County Human Relations Committee, HRC municipal appointment. Mr. Turner.
Mayor Murphy, Tim, and Commissioners, you heard Reverend Gooch a few minutes ago give you an update on the restructuring or reorganization of the HRC. Our current representative, Mayor Pro Tem Ed Gleason, was appointed to the Granville County HRC by the Granville County Board of Commissioners on August the 7th, 2023, to the unexpired term of Mr. Dennis Daniels. Mayor Pro Tem Gleason was appointed by the Board of County Commissioners to one of the two District 6 seats and is currently the only representative for that district. At the time of his appointment by the county board, there were no municipal seats on the HRC. While Mayor Pro Tem Gleason's current District 6 seat does not expire until February 1, 2026, with his appointment by the City of Creedmoor to the HRC to fill the municipal seat of Creedmoor, he will immediately move from representing District 6 county seat instead over to fill the newly created city seat on the date of action by this board and notification of the county clerk. This appointment is for a 3-year term, and if approved by the board, will become effective immediately October the 6th, 2025, and run through February 1, 2029, or for a period of 3 years and 4 months, according to the Granville County Clerk to the Board of County Commissioners, Ms. Karen Evans. So what is the pleasure of the board?
Mr. Wilkins, any questions?
No questions. I'd like to make a motion to appoint Mayor Pro Tem Gleason to fill the newly created municipal seat to represent the city of Creedmoor on the HRC.
All right, let me get through all my questions, and then I'll be done.
Before you jump.
Commissioner Way, any questions? Commissioner Kuczynski.
None at all. I'm glad that Ed is considering going back on this board.
Commissioner Albright, any questions?
No, I think he's great.
Well, before I get to Commissioner Wilkins' motion, thank you for your term of service up to this point. It has been exceptional that you've been able to attend the meetings you have and represent this city in a way that makes us all proud.
Thank you. I must say though, I almost thought the Reverend Gooch was looking at me when he said the guys that sit in the seats at the meeting and bow and shake their head. My handicap limits me going to the Bee Festival and certain festivals like that, so I am. But I'm there and I did try very hard along with Commissioner Way to get this city to join forces with the county and have a single Martin Luther King breakfast, but it didn't go so well. But I would be glad to represent the city if so approved on the HRC. Thank you.
All right. Mr. Wilkins, you have stated your motion.
I have.
So at this time, we will take a vote. All those in favor say aye.
Aye.
Opposed, no. Congratulations, Mayor Pro Tem. You are now appointed as Creedmoor's municipal representative. All right. Having done that, we move to 10D, James Michael Moore request to close East Line Street alley. Ms. Frangos, I believe that's you.
State your name so we know who you are.
Michael S. Frangos, Community Development Director, City of Creedmoor. Over 12 years in that position.
And the S stands for special.
Tonight's request is from James Michael Moore, who has petitioned the city of Creedmoor through its clerk regarding an alley that exists in and around property that he now owns on the north side of East Lime Street between Chief Street and Cozart. These alleys surround his property at 113 East Lime Street. So Bob, could we, let me get through the map? My map is better. I have a couple.
Oh, that is mean.
Well, I just have a couple of locations. That makes it a little bit easier to see the alley in question. So the capital T on your map there is the representation of the alley in question, which was originally platted in 1946, I believe. November 16th, 1946, by A.O. Pearl. And the surveyor on this plat was Johnny C. Curran, and this was filed in the Granville County Register, Plat Book 2, page 92. So at the time, in 46, there was a plat laid out that subdivided this property into 25 parcels, as you see, and it had the existing 25-foot alley in the stem, and the crossbar looks like a capital T. This map here shows then the adjoining, property owners. The two green panels there show the Moore properties on either side of the stem of the T. And then, Carter, Panera, and Panera own land on all three, other sides. So the idea here, is the general statutes identify the fact that even though the city might not have ever accepted the dedication of this alley, and in fact Barbara researched as best she could to this era in 46 and 47, and there never was a record of the city actually accepting it. But the general statutes still state clearly that when it's platted, it's ours. And for the purposes of abandonment or closure, the decision lies with this board because this alley is clearly within, our corporate limits. So the idea is that the general statutes does lay out a specific process, for abandoning and closing an alley of this sort. And that process is what is identified in the resolution that was included in your agenda packet. I do want to make one specific reference here to utilities. A lot of times alleys in this kind of case are homes to utilities, whether they be water or wastewater, telecom or other, but this one doesn't have any. In the picture that was included in your agenda packet, really doesn't look like much at all. I think, this is a picture of the alley. It's really what's called a paper street. And the idea that there is no gravel, asphalt, or any other actual alley, physical structure that exists. So the idea here is that this paper street can be abandoned if we follow through on the appropriate procedure, which will include certified mail notice of all adjoining property owners with return receipt requested, so to make sure that all the owners know about the action. It gets published, the newspaper ad for 4 consecutive weeks prior to the public hearing, and then it will be posted, with signs on site, a lot like we do for rezonings and things like that. We'll put a sign here on the front so that folks who are interested would have an opportunity to call and learn a little bit more about the proposed action. So the resolution that's included in your packet is Resolution 2025-R09, and what it is simply an intent to close the unopened alley on the north side of East Line Street between Chief and Cozart. It doesn't actually close it or abandon it right now, it just simply identifies us as considering it, puts forth these notification requirements, and sets the date of the public hearing for Wednesday, November the 5th, 2025. That will be our next scheduled meeting date. And that gives us enough time to get those newspaper ads in and get those certified letters out. Are there any questions?
Mr. Frangos, obviously, some of us still remember what was in that building before, so I know there should be water and sewer allocated for that. Is that still in effect?
Allocated or connected?
Or connected, allocated,
yes,
whichever
that
works.
building would be connected, yes.
All right, if somebody decided, and I'm just throwing it out there, that they wanted to build, say, a house or a bigger something on that property, would they have adequate water and sewer based on the amount that's scored?
If the use were to be expanded, it would have to be considered as a new use. The idea that you would need additional allocation for additional square footage of some sort of new use, but in the existing structure, anything you could fit in there would go.
Okay. Commissioner Way, any questions?
So, give me some education here, Mike. So we abandoned these alleys. So does the property then default back to the ownership based on the surveying for each plot?
Doesn't have to be surveyed. It's simply stated that from the center line of the alley, property owners on each side get that land to be included in their property.
Okay, from center of the property.
Center line, let's say center line north will go to Panera.
Gotcha.
Center line south will go to Moore. On the one that's the stem of the T, Moore would get the land on both sides. The idea that that alley would be closed in full, and they would get 25 feet right between.
Because it runs through the middle of his
Yes,
property.
that's right.
Well, thank you for the education.
Commissioner Kuczynski.
So in that one picture, there's those little stakes with the pink ribbons on them right there. So it's been surveyed already?
It must be from Mr. Moore, it wasn't from us.
No, I knew it wasn't from us. We
Yeah, yeah.
didn't approve that. So, it's good to know that that's done, because then there's no question about, linear feet and property lines and title issues and stuff like that.
That's right.
So, that land would then become taxable property.
Correct.
Okay, thank you.
Mayor Pro Tem, any questions?
Could you go back to the slide that had just the lot lines?
That one?
Now back to the one that had the names of the owners.
So it's a little bit
So
different.
everybody that owns property behind that alley would have egress through another lot that they own, correct?
Correct. So there is frontage, the Panera owned property down there, I can't exactly read that address. 201 East Lime Street. I don't think there's a structure there right now, but of course that would be the frontage that would allow for the access to the parcels in the rear. It's not all, I put Panera there because I know Joel, we're familiar, but it's actually in a couple of his LLCs. One is First National Bank LLC, the other is 211 North Main LLC, and then the third might actually be in his personal name or some other business.
And again, my age, a few years ago, Moores wanted to change the zoning.
They had requested a change to
Change the
Main
zoning
Street.
right, to Main Street, but it didn't change.
Correct.
And it's still a residential city, whatever,
It's
residential.
RMST, yes, sir.
So
Single rest-
they couldn't turn that building into a,
Well, it continues as a non-conforming use right now. The building has an active building permit, James Michael Moore is working on the renovation. So it still maintains its non-conformity as a hair salon, both men and women. But yeah, if it was to change use, that would be a zoning decision that we'd have to make based on their proposal.
that's all.
Mr. Albright.
I'm good.
Okay. Mr. Wilkins.
I am good, sir.
All right. And of course, I'm good with it. At this time, I will request a motion to adopt Resolution 2025-R-09, a resolution of intent to close East Line Street alleys between Chief Street and Cozart Streets.
So moved.
Motion is made by Commissioner Kuczynski. All those in favor say aye.
Aye.
Opposed, no. Motion carries 5-0. Thank you, Ms. Frangos. Okay. We move on to 10C, financial summary. Mr. Faines.
Good evening, Mayor and Board. Tonight I bring you the August financial summary report. Same point as always, the one thing to point out in the residential property taxes, we have collected 70%. We already received a large portion of Avalon taxes early on in the fiscal year, and we received the remaining payments throughout. Sales and use tax, as of August, we haven't received the July report because of the 2 months behind. So in September, we received the first allocation of sales and use tax. So bringing total revenue collected 33%. General fund expenditures, 19% expense. One I just want to point out is the general government. You see a negative there. That is because of the elections. It was the emergency action plan that was, the PO that was done for that was in the previous fiscal year. The PO on my behalf, I failed to roll it over, but those funds went back into the general fund, so those funds were still there. So in the next meeting, I believe in November, I will bring forward a budget amendment for that PO amount. So I will take kind of this, but you won't forget it. So,
General fund expenditures at 19% expense. Stormwater revenue, 16% expense. We received a large portion of that revenue in September, so you're going to see that reflected in the next financial summary report. General fund expenditures, stormwater fund expenditures, 34% expense. Power bill fund revenues, only power bill revenue we received as of August was interest income for those funds in the power bill account. We received the first allocation of power bill funds in September, so you'll see that 80,000 reflected in the next summary. Power bill fund expenditures were at 5% expense. And two things I just want to point out that not reflected in the summary, but just to keep you all aware. In that next amendment, I will be also bringing forth an amendment for the $3 million that the city appropriated for the police department, just to move those funds from the general fund. So it's going to be in the same amendment. But it's one with multiple transactions. So yeah, the $3 million that was appropriated for that, is just moving the funds from the general fund to the capital project fund that you all approved at the last meeting. Also, just to make you aware that the state moved the deadline for the audit to December 31st, where they're giving cities and counties more time to get the audit completed. They realized that October 31st deadline was reached.
Permanently removed?
Yes, permanent. So that's something that's going forward until they decided to change, unless we get a new state treasurer and they decide to change it again. But just to keep you all updated on that the deadline is 12/31, so when you don't see it come as quick as we used to get it, we're still within that deadline. So just want to keep you all aware of that. Any questions?
Commissioner Wilkins, any questions?
No, sir.
Mayor Pro Tem.
The $3 million that you're moving from the fund balance into the general fund, or for the capital project, that's still gonna be in a interest-bearing account while it's waiting?
Yes, account with open cash management trust account where that's where we earn all of our interest income. So those funds will earn interest as those funds sit in that account. And the goal is to spend, for reporting purposes, is to spend the city's portion of the city's contribution threshold expenditures before we get into the loan proceeds. And there's been reasons for that, so we don't get into the arbitrage and all of those things that come with bank loans. So I will be keeping a budget of those expenses as we go through the project.
Thank you.
Commissioner Albright, any questions?
No, sir.
Commissioner Kuczynski, any questions? Mr. Way, any questions?
Thank you, Lee.
Excellent job, Lee, well done.
Thank you all.
All right, we move now to 10D, city property title issue, and I believe that goes to our absent city attorney.
Can everyone hear me? I just want to make sure we're not running into the same microphone issue. Okay. So you all may be aware, I sent an email this morning, or maybe early this afternoon, with a brief summary of this issue. We discovered a week or so ago, well, I'll back up. When the city acquired the 120 Sanderford Street property 5 or 6 years ago, I believe we discovered during that process that there's a title issue regarding that parcel. A small portion of it may at one time have been owned by or subject to a right-of-way owned by the railroad company. When the railroad line was taken up and removed from the area, It's unclear what happened to the railroad company's interest in the property, whether they owned it outright or whether they had a simple right-of-way is unclear. And it's unclear what happened to whatever ownership interest the railway company did have. And so there's kind of an open question on that issue. When the city acquired that parcel 5 or 6 years ago, this was discovered. Its title insurance would not insure over that property because of that issue. At the time, I think the city chose to proceed with acquiring the property because there were no immediate plans for its use, and beyond conducting a controlled burn of the structure that was located on that same parcel, although I don't believe it was located in the area where the disputed property lines or title issue was located. However, this has come up again during the financing discussions that we just completed last week. There's really no need for, I'll put it this way. This is probably an issue that the city should correct at some point, and now is probably as good a time as any to address it. It could be as simple as filing a quiet title action and, serving the railroad company. They may agree to just settle the quiet title action and clear up the title issue. They may not respond to the quiet title action at all, in which case the city would just get a default judgment. So that's an option now. What I will say is the portion of the property on which there is a title defect probably does not affect the construction of the police department building or the parking lot. We should probably discuss that with the architect before we make any decisions. But I say that just to say that it's possible that the city doesn't need to do anything at all right now. If it's not going to impact the construction project, then the city could just move forward as planned without doing anything to correct the title defect. And then if somebody with a claim of title to the property at some point in the future wants to raise an issue down the road, then we can just resolve it at that time, or deed them back a small sliver of land, if that's how they want to handle it. But that's a long-winded way of saying it. I don't think that there's any imminent need for action right now. But I do think that this is an issue that the city probably should clean up if the board wishes to.
All right, Kevin, I've got a question here. Commissioner Kuczynski.
I'll let Kevin finish it. I
thought he was finished.
I don't know. Kevin, are you done?
Yes, I'm here, and I'm done, yes.
So since I was the only commissioner on this board now, that was on this board then, and I'm looking at the recorded deed from March 24th, 2020, I would like to know why a title search wasn't done at the time. This deed is done by Jerry Coynes, which I had absolutely no idea that it was done by any other attorney, because T.C. Morphus was the city attorney at the time, and I thought he was taking care of it as he presented to us the information on it. Also, this deed that's recorded, there are 2 lots. There are 2 lots on this deed. Which lot is the one that is in question?
Well, so that's quite a handful of points. I'll try to take them one at a time. There was a title search done. As I mentioned, we got a title search done to get title insurance for the property. The title search is what uncovered this issue back in 2019. So this is an issue that the city's been aware of for at least 5 or 6 years now. Our firm, and I believe this is in our firm's MOU with the city, but title searches and real property transactions are always work items that we refer out to local real estate counsel for the simple fact that it is always more efficient to have, and granted, I don't think Jerry is anymore a local attorney, but it is usually more efficient to have a local real estate attorney conduct those sorts of title searches and prepare those sorts of, those are title opinions that are necessary for getting title insurance on property. So that's something that's always been part of our policy, and it's always something that we've done for the city for as long as I've been working, I think for as long as PT was working for the city as well. As far as the deed you're looking at, I don't have that in front of me, so I can't say for certain, but what I will say is it's not a whole parcel of land that has a title defect. So you'll see in the materials that are included in your agenda.
I'm looking at that.
On the second, or let's see, I guess the second page is a Google Maps kind of aerial view with some kind of color overlays on it. The area that's shaded in red there, the one that's identified as Seaboard Airline Railway Code, that's the one that has a real title question. It's a portion of one of the parcels of land. It's not the full parcel of land itself. That's the one that may be, that the railway company may have some interest in. The other one, the one that's identified or shaded in orange and is identified as Tract 4, Lot 1. That one has just a simple deed description issue that can be probably very easily addressed through an updated survey for that parcel, or for that portion of the parcel, I should say. But it's not one tract that has, or not one parcel or tax parcel, maybe is the way to phrase it. It's not one whole tax parcel that has a defect with it. It's, smaller subparts of a tax parcel.
So Kevin, the legal description that's attached to this deed, Exhibit A, first lot, beginning at the iron pin in the northerly margin of Sandling Street. I have no ever-loving idea where Sandling Street is. There is no Sandling Street. That intersects Railroad Street, corner of lot of the Seaboard Airline Railway. There is no lot 1 referenced in either one of these legal descriptions. And again, I know you were not here at the time, so please, I'm not being accusatory. I'm just trying to understand this. Because for 5 years, we've been trying to pave that property, and for 5 years, I'd like to know who at the city of Creedmoor was aware of this for 5 years. You said that the city was aware of it, and I'd like to know who was aware of it at the city, because this board member who was involved in it was not aware of it. I contacted 2 other previous commissioners today, and they were not aware of it. So I'd like to know who at the city of Creedmoor knew that this was not a clear title and that there was an issue. Title insurance is lovely, and I understand that the Seaboard Railroad's not in business anymore, so this is going to be kind of difficult. Quiet title is the only way we can do it.
I've already done my research.
CSX? CSX now owns it?
Well, yeah.
Go ahead.
Seaboard Airline Railway has been purchased by 3 other railway lines. And ultimately, those lines went out of business, and what is referred to Seaboard Airlines, the company, is now CSX Railway.
While we got just a break here, Lee, do you have something you wanted to add that might help us on this?
Yeah, I was just gonna bring up, the picture that Kevin was referencing, so the area that was the main issue at the time when we was going through this process and trying to get everything situated for the closing for this, the salon, the red slitter that you see through that one fossil that's into different tracks is the portion that, the ownership portion is that question. But as we went through it and started discussing, Davenport, financial advisors, placed the drawing over top of that lot to show, to put it into perspective of where this lot is into the new construction. And it was discovered that the lot is in that corner where nothing is being developed. So we took that back to the bank, to Webster Bank, because before this project could have been delayed months to a year. And they kind of put everything at halt, as far as the bidding, the bank loans and everything. But once they seen this and they seen the drawing and they agreed to have this portion not included in the deed that was, recorded at the register of deeds. So as of now, this doesn't affect the construction, and didn't delay any for the timeline, but as Kevin is saying, so if the board wants to take action to get this resolved, you can, but as of right now, nothing is being developed on this portion of land. It's not included in the deed that was recorded.
So let me understand what you just said. So the committee that has been working on this police department all along has been aware that there was a problem and not told the board?
No. It's just about 2 weeks ago when we discovered this and had a meeting with everyone involved to try to best resolve how we would keep this thing on schedule. And the decision was to carve off this one piece and put the building and the parking lot on the other piece and not slow anything down until we had a chance to come to the board and to tell you what happened. And this is the first chance we've had to do that.
To be clear, when we say carve out one piece, nothing is being carved out. It's just that we are not pledging that one red-shaded sliver as collateral for the project. The city still has whatever interest it has in the red-shaded sliver. Nothing has been given away or anything like that.
No, I understand that.
Or created as a separate parcel. We are just not pledging that red-shaded sliver as collateral
for the loan.
Financing of the project.
So Kevin, I know you weren't there. Again, I know you weren't involved in this. Have you gone back? Was the city of Creedmoor billed for Mr. Coinas's services at the time? And, because I do remember specifically asking for a title search on this property, and TC told me it would be done, because when property is as old as this is, you always get a title search to make sure there's no flips.
Was done. Jerry reported title search. The city, I know Mike Turner was able to send me copies of the title search and the title opinion and the title insurance policy for that particular parcel. The city has had these documents for 6 years now.
5 years.
And I know that at the time this was all done, because I was involved with work for the city at that time, that this was all reported to the city manager at that point. Now, I'm sorry if that information never made its way to you, but I can tell you that this is an issue that has been on the city's radar for 6 years now. And it's something that, at the time, I think the instruction to our firm was, there's no need to do anything because we don't have any immediate plans to use or develop that parcel. At the time, the only kind of imminent action related to that parcel was the desire by the volunteer fire department to do a controlled burn of a structure that was at one point located there. But there's no need.
The desire of the board was to pave it and make another public parking lot out of it. And I know that Commissioner Nowell asked for it, I've asked for it, we brought it up numerous times, and nobody's ever said a word to us about this. This has been, it was on our CIP plan for a time, and it's never been, we've never been notified, and it's not your responsibility if if someone told you there's no need to tell the board, then that's not your issue. That's an internal issue. And I appreciate your honesty in telling us that. It's just, this gotta be straightened out. I want it fixed. And I'm glad Commissioner Way has found out that, Seaboard Airline Railway is now CSX. So we've got a place that we can go to if we need to start it. I just hope it doesn't cost us a lot of money to fix this now.
Commissioner Albright, you had a question.
Well, Lee kind of answered, I didn't want to tell you I didn't have a question, but Lee kind of answered my question when he said, I think it's important that we still follow through with this and get it fixed for further
for
future references and future use, yes.
So those, when we was having this discussion, and this was brought to our attention, was how can we fix this without delaying the project and putting everything out of whack?
Yeah.
And then that's what it was determined as of right now, just to not include that part as collateral towards the new building.
Well, we're lucky that way.
To deal with the issue, and just hopefully the bank accepts that and allow us to proceed and still remit the funds to us for this project. And they worked with us well, they were very understanding. So we were grateful for them to accept that and still proceed to work with us. That's why we will bring it to your attention now.
And the second part of that was, don't tell the board, because they'll delay the project.
We didn't say this.
Well, we would have, if we wanted a title search, it would have delayed the project.
City Manager.
Thank you, Mr. Mayor.
Title search has been done. I want to continue to reiterate that point. A title search was done back in 2019. A title search was done again for the purposes of this closing. So I don't know where this notion that no title search has been done, that somehow we've been negligent or not done our due diligence here is coming from. That's simply not the case. And as I've consistently said over and over again, those things have been done.
Okay, Mike Turner here, City Manager. I came on board in 29 July 2020. One of the first things I was asked to do was get that house burnt down and abated and all that. So we moved quickly and did that. I have never heard anything about this being a parcel under someone else's name until 3 weeks ago, 2 or 3 weeks ago, when it came up on our radar, and we got together to decide what's the best option, what options do we have, and which is the best approach to take. So the decision was to leave that out of the survey. It didn't overlap the parking lot of the building, and keep the building on schedule, and pursue getting property acquisition at a later date. This is the first time that we've had a chance to bring this to the board. And I asked staff to bring this to the board because I didn't want to keep this any longer than I had to, because it's an important issue to me. But this is the first time I have heard about it as interim city manager or as city manager the last 3 years. So I knew nothing about this until 3 weeks ago, just for the record.
All right, let me get Commissioner Way.
Hey, Kevin, I got a fun question.
Sure.
If this property has technically been owned by the railway company, is that what we're under the impression of?
No. I think that there is simply some, uncertainty in the title record of what interest, if any, the railway company might have had. And depending on the outcome of that question, it's possible that the railroad still has, for example, a right-of-way over a portion of the property. And because nothing was ever done, probably at the time that the railroad company, was acquired or merged with other railroad companies, it's unclear what the status of their interest in the property is.
So
And so there's no yes, the city owns some interest, whatever interest the underlying property owner has. But it's unclear, what, if anything, is interest or ownership rights are still held by the railroad company or whatever successor company now owns, the assets of the Seaboard Airlines Railway Company.
So my fun part of that question was if it was any part and not considered right of way, but if it was owned by the railway company, when was the last time they paid taxes? And if they would like to pay me taxes to the city of Creedmoor on all the time that they've owned that land, the city of Creedmoor would love to have that tax income.
Well, and I'll tell you, if as part of a quiet title action, if we end up negotiating with them, that's certainly a point that we would raise, right? Is that, if they insist on taking ownership, or some interest in the property, then they're gonna have to, they're gonna have to pay whatever back taxes are owed on it. If on the other hand, they acknowledge that they don't have any interest in the property, and that, they're not involved at all, then perhaps they don't have any, if there's no back taxes owed by them that need to be paid to the city. We'll see where they go with that.
Yes, sir. That was my fun part. I appreciate it.
Mayor Pro Tem.
I'd like to see us move on with the, building. This was found out by everybody on this board, including the city manager, 3 weeks ago. It's not gonna affect the building of the new police station or the parking areas. And I agree that we move forward to clear this up as soon as possible. There's no, like I said, we don't need it tomorrow. It's not gonna stop anything. But we do get to the bottom of it. But we could talk about it here as a group till 10 o'clock, and it's not gonna change until we have our legal team and go further. So I'm for, like I say, suggesting, and if I make it in the form of a motion, that the city attorney be asked to look further into the situation and find out whether it was a right-of-way or a property ownership, and tell us how we should move forward.
I don't think we would need to do a motion, just consensus ought to do it on that. City manager.
One other thing I did want to add, the sole reason and purpose of this item being on the agenda tonight is to inform the board as soon as we could about this issue. That's the only reason this is on here. No actions requested, it's just to inform the board that we've run across this piece of information that not many knew. We wanted to be sure that the board was aware of.
Commissioner Kuczynski.
I agree with Mayor Pro Tem that we need to get this taken care of. But I think it does require a motion because there's, Kevin, tell me if I'm wrong, I don't know. I don't think you have to do this one for free, but, it does involve some spending of some city funds.
Well, but we're asking the city attorney to complete a task under his purview as the city attorney. It's not something on the side that he has to do. Am I correct?
Yeah, I think at this point, there's no need for a formal motion. I think that before we decide to file this, if, for example, in the event we decide to file this, and apply a title action here, then I would probably ask for the board to make a motion to authorize to do that. But I think that's premature at this stage. I think the first step would be for us to try to identify the perhaps like any successor in interest to, Seaboard Airline Railway Company, and to contact them to see if they believe that they, still own an interest in this parcel, and if they do, can they document that for us? And if they can, are they willing to part with that interest for the city? And I don't think it's necessary. I think all of that could be done without, a motion or further action by the board. If we get to the point where, for example, a lawsuit becomes necessary or advisable, then we bring that back to the board for a motion to authorize them to pursue legal action.
All right, so as far as I can tell, the board is directing you to look into that aspect of it. Any other questions?
Mayor Pro Tem said it better. I was gonna say we can move on, I think.
Yeah, I agree with that. All right, Kevin, any questions from us or for us from that?
I think that covers it, but we'll look into that and we'll report back.
All right, thank you, Kevin, appreciate that. Lee, thanks for your input. We move on to 10D, city property title issue. I think we got that. 11A, sidewalk gap feasibility study. I figure we go back over it.
Good evening.
Hey, Carl.
Members of the board. I'm Carl Barkley, your city engineer. And let's see if I can figure this thing out.
You're an engineer, you can do it.
Button. There, okay. So, the purpose of this evening's presentation is to give the board a summary of the sidewalk gap feasibility study that was developed by Summit Engineering, one of the on-call firms that we hired. And the entire study is in the agenda materials. I wanted to read all the details, but I'm going to try and give you an overview here. So just a reminder of the 12 sidewalk gaps that have been identified in the 2040 plan. We picked out the board picked out 4 priority segments several months back. One on Main Street, one on Northside Road, one on East Lion Street, and one on Peachtree Street. Those 4 segments were the ones that were given to Summit, and they were doing the feasibility analysis for those. And just a reminder, feasibility study is a key document for planning and for funding. The first step that Summit did when they took this project on was to go out and gather all the available information, screen the different options for any challenges, or any show-stopping issues with any of the segments. Then they develop a schematic design and then give us some recommended routes. There's different options. Most have 2, some have 3. They develop a preliminary cost estimate that is based on the preliminary design, but it's an all-inclusive. The idea is to capture every cost associated with a sidewalk, and the detailed estimates are in the full report. You want to see all of the different line items that they're accounting for. Then in the summary report, they include all the information that they gather, decisions that still need to be made, any opinions they have, et cetera. And then they also evaluate the segments for funding. So this, the feasibility study, they sit on the shelf for a little bit of time, to be there for years, and that way when somebody picks it up, they can see where the previous analysis left off on it. So that's what a feasibility study is. So the first one that they looked at was segment 7 on Main Street, going from Dogwood to Whitehall, and they came up with, they call it alternate 1 and 2, and then alternate 1 has option 1 and 2 associated with it, so there's 3 colors. The alternate 1 is on the west side of Main Street. It has curb and gutter, 5-foot park strip between the curb and gutter and the sidewalk. The only difference between option 1 and option 2 is option 1 at the edge of the new sidewalk is a 3-to-1 slope that goes down to the existing ground on the neighboring parcel. So it will have a long slope on them. Option 2 has a retaining wall to shorten up that slope so it doesn't impact the adjacent property quite so much. So the schematic design looks like this. The heavy red line represents proposed curb and gutter next to Main Street. The yellow is the sidewalk, and you see a small gap between the yellow and the red. That's the park strip in between them. And toward the right side, you see a rectangle outlined with a dashed black line. And inside that black rectangle, you see a red dashed line, the short dashes that sort of goes up and comes back down. That represents where the slope ties into existing ground. So you can see that slope is pushing into that neighboring lot a fair amount. Down directly below that, there's a detail of what it would look like if it were retaining walls. It's probably not clear enough to see on that slide. But here's a rendering of alternate one, option one. So you have the curb and gutter, the 5-foot park strip, 5-foot sidewalk, and then a 3-to-1 slope that goes down to existing ground. Also, in the previous slide, it showed us one parcel on that corner that's not developed. GIS shows 2 parcels. One is the address off of Dogwood, one is the address off of Main Street. So the parcel that's address off of Main Street, we have to provide access for a driveway if it's used to develop that lot. So on the next slide here where I showed the retaining wall, you notice there's a break in it. It's not a straight retaining wall all the way down. The break in the middle of it is for a future driveway to go in. So the retaining wall sort of helps on either side, but doesn't completely stop the slope from going, because it has to be a gentle slope for a driveway. So when you compare the alternate two, it's similar in that it has a curb and gutter also. However, the big difference is there's no park strip. So by getting rid of that 5-foot park strip, you're pulling everything in, so there's fewer impacts to the adjacent parcels. But the big disadvantage to that is you now have a minimal separation between 35-mile-an-hour traffic that can see a 55 sign not too far up ahead and pedestrians walk. So that's not really a good situation. And also it doesn't allow the existing sidewalk that's going down Main Street. There's a pretty good distance, more than 5 feet between the travelway and the sidewalk. So it would look like that, not much difference if there's no gap between the yellow and the red, no park strip. So when you compare the cost between these, the retaining wall has a lot of extra money, and it really doesn't seem like it doesn't really get you a whole lot, because it just sort of helps a little bit either side of that future driveway. The difference between alt one, option one, and alternate 2 is about $16,000. But it's a whole lot safer to have that park strip in there, plus visually it looks better because it aligns with the existing sidewalk. So personally, my recommendation would be alternate 1, option 1 for segment 7 on Main Street. Are there any questions about the segment 7?
Commissioner Kuczynski.
So that strip of land between Whitehall and Dogwood, that property there drops off, would we fill it in? Or could we build a little walkway bridge thing?
So what they're proposing is they're filling it in, and by filling in where the drop-off is, now the 3-to-1 extends out into that undeveloped lot.
Okay. I just was trying, because I know it drops off a lot.
It does. There'd be a lot of dirt going in right there, and then the general slope after that.
And it'd probably be an easement issue with the owner, correct?
There would be a temporary construction easement to build the slope, but then after it's built, it's theirs. So it's not a right-of-way, it's not a farm right-of-way, but you have to have the easement to place it. The fact there's no home there yet, I think it's a whole lot easier to get an agreement now than if somebody had a house there and had a garage next to it or others.
There's no house on this lot, but the one on the other side that is at the corner.
There's 2 vacant parcels on the right side of the slide. There's 2 vacant parcels. They're showing it as one big parcel.
Right.
But they're 2.
Okay.
Now, going the other direction, there doesn't seem to be anywhere near the amount of fill going. There is a house.
That where that brown house is that just sold.
Right, that's one, so there is a little bit of fill on that parcel.
Okay, all right.
But the current undeveloped parcel has the biggest potential.
Okay.
Any other questions on segment 7? Okay. So the next one, segment 8, is on Northside Road, is between the Davenport subdivision and the Whitehall subdivision. Alternate 1 is being proposed on the east side of Northside Road. It would have curb and gutter and a standard 10-foot berm, which is a 5-foot park strip, 5-foot sidewalk. The only slight advantage of being on the east side is it would not require replacing a cross pipe, drainage pipe, that goes under Northside Road. And it would look something like this. So coming out of Davenport subdivision, you would cross over right there, and then you would walk along, and you'd already be on the Whitehall side to go into that subdivision. And then alternate 2 is a similar design as far as curb and gutter, 10-foot berm, the 5-foot park strip, 5-foot sidewalk. However, there's some advantages to being on the west side. There's fewer parcels that would have to be dealt with to get right-of-way or easements. There's less impact to the properties, no anticipated utility conflicts, and all that adds up to less cost to construct it. The only disadvantage on that side is it does require replacing the cross pipe under north side. And it would look not too dramatically different, just on the other side of the road. So that thin black line that you see crossing north side toward the right of the slide, right before you get to Whitehall subdivision, that's a drainage pipe. And if you widen on this east side, no problem, you don't have to replace it. But if you widen on the west side, it changes the elevation of the invert, and that pipe would have to be replaced. So that's the cross pipe I was referring to. So when they did the estimate on that one, there's not much difference between the two. The west side is a little bit less expensive, and I think for the reasons given, it's also a better choice, so being less expensive is added first. So that's the one that I would recommend if we proceed with segment number 8. Any questions on segment number 8?
No, I was asked about it this weekend.
Commissioner Albright.
I guess I do. I think when we talked about this earlier, some of these sidewalks are like, there's no connection to anything. So it doesn't connect to, one sidewalk that's 3 blocks away to another sidewalk. This is just kind of like a ghost sidewalk.
I guess you say connect to subdivisions, although there is no sidewalk in Whitehall.
Right.
This is what one of the residents of Davenport asked for at the town hall, so that's why it's on the slip.
Yeah, but it's like I just said, but it's just like there's no connections, like it doesn't take you into town, it doesn't take you to connect to another sidewalk to fill the need, it's just kind of there.
But it takes you to Whitehall Drive, which will take you to Main Street, and if the Dogwood Main Street connection's there, then it will.
Right, but there's no other sidewalks that connect to this.
No.
That's all I'm saying, is there's no connection from, you're not connecting sidewalks together.
Yeah, they'd have to walk on the road.
Yes.
So the next one is number 9. Number 9 is East Lion Street, and that's starting at Main Street, and it goes to the east to Beverly Court. Now, alternative 1 is primarily on the north side. When I show you the conceptual plan, you'll understand what I mean by primarily. It has curb and gutter, but no park strip is proposed. 2 reasons for that. Number 1, it's a 25-mile-an-hour zone, so you don't have the same safety concern with traffic going by. Also, the right-of-way is much more narrow, and that's a city street where the other 2 are both DOT roads. The advantages to being on the north side of East Lion Street, there are fewer developed parcels, and there's less impact to the property. The disadvantage is it requires a lot more infrastructure to be built. The sidewalk is essentially going over the ditch. And based on topography, being on the north side requires more drainage structures, more pipes. It's also crossing 2 roads, so at the intersections, there's more curb ramps, and utility relocation. All that adds up to a significantly higher cost. So starting on the left side of that slide, the sidewalk would actually be on the south side, next to the gas station and 1.5 more parcels. We don't want to impact the parking lot of the business on the north side, right across from the gas station. So once you get past, T Street, then you cross over to the north side, and like most of those, there's quite some undeveloped parcels in there, 2 intersections to cross, and to work your way to the end. And here's a rendering of the house, excuse me, at 301 East Lion Street, just to demonstrate how, by putting the curb and gutter next to the road and the sidewalk right next to it, no park strip, all that can be done in the right of way without impacting this beautiful entranceway that I'm sure that the man worked very hard to build. Now, the alternate 2 is on the south side the entire way. So it only has one intersection across, does not have that crosswalk midstream. I did a little zoom in of the 2 options. On top of this one is on the north side of the street, and you can see the yellow sidewalk doesn't actually touch the pink line, which is the property line, the edge of the right-of-way line. On the bottom of that slide is when it's on the south side, and the sidewalk does cover the right-of-way line or across the property line. So my first reaction was, well, of course, the north side is better. I mean, you do it all in the right-of-way, it doesn't impact the people on the property too much. Then I saw the estimate, and it's less than 80% the cost of the north side to put it on the south side, and you can get the higher impact to the adjacent property. Then, again, thought some more, well, what kind of impact? Right now they have a ditch, we're filling the ditch and we're putting a sidewalk there. Is that really an impact? Some would say that's an improvement, You're making it better, it's usable now, so I don't really think it's a negative, and if the cost difference is that much, then my recommendation would be put it on the south side of East Lion Street.
We don't have to mow the ditch.
Try to up mow the sidewalk. All right, any questions on segment number 10?
So which alternative did you say you would prefer?
I would recommend alternate 2,
Okay.
The south side. All right, moving right along to number 10. That is Peachtree Street, starting at Church and going up to Watson. The alternate 1, they're proposing to be on the west side of Peachtree. It would have curb and gutter, and again, no park strip because it's a 25-mile-an-hour road. You don't have the same safety concerns. And the advantage of being on the west side is on the residential side. That's where all the neighborhoods are, and easier to be able to get to. And it would look something like that. It does have quite a few intersections that have to cross. And the other side of the road is quite different. The alternate 2 on the east side, they're proposing having curb and gutter just from Church Street to just past the parking lot where the little apartment complex is. After it gets past the parking lot of the apartments, then it transitions to a 10-foot swale between the road and the sidewalk. So nice wide, way far away from it. In the 2040 plan, there's a greenway that's shown, and this is actually lined up with that future greenway. A lot fewer parcels still. The Christian Faith Center is one that owns the land on that side, and a lot lower cost. So you compare the 2 of those, it would look like that. You see curb and gutter just a little bit on the left side, you get past the apartment. So the cost difference is significant. Almost $900,000 on the west side, $540,000 on the east side. So I would highly recommend alternate 2, mainly because I think getting away from this intersection, I think it's safer to have the pedestrian traffic on one side, and in the future it would line up. But some have suggested, regardless of which alternate we choose, they said, why don't you get to Watson, turn the corner, go down to Harris Park. That way you have another destination. Right now it ends at Christian Faith Center, but Harris Park is an obvious goal. I thought about that, but it certainly makes sense. So that's one of the little tidbits that we want to have captured, so in the future when this is looked at.
That cost isn't figured into this yet, right? And that little section of cost isn't figured in.
No, that's not figured in there, and it's not shown on the sheet here. We didn't want to have Mission Creek as we told them what to do the study on, we gave them the study as we decided here, but they're giving us the feedback of things to consider in the future. So, any questions on segment 10?
Are you writing a check?
My wife,
Are you writing a check
writing a check?
for all of it?
Oh, no. So, as I said last time before you, I want to just remind you, in closing, that there's several other projects that are in the process right now that are going to come with a recommendation for spending money. The structural adequacy of Lake Rogers Dam. This week I expect Chanel to be back out there based on the non-invasive testing, not just invasive testing, taking concrete core samples. In November, I expect them to have a report and tell us what the options are for that. Main Street Public Parking Lot, that's coming along nicely. The next submittal from RK&K, I expect them to have the engineer's estimate with it, which would be a very, very accurate idea of what that's going to cost us when it goes to bid. Dogwood Drive and Whitehall Drive drainage study, we're still discussing internally what's the right first step to take on that. Be a price tag associated with that. So as information is received at any of those, I promise I'll keep the board informed so you can determine the priorities as we go forward. If no further questions, and that's all I have for you.
All right, Commissioner Wilkins.
No questions.
Commissioner Way.
Mr. Franco, you can get your seat, I don't want you, there's no, if you get what, with our projects with the sidewalks, what grants would be the best that we could probably look for that maybe have a chance with on those, off the top of your head?
Right through Campo.
Right through Campo?
I'm sorry to giggle, but
I don't blame you.
Campo is not the most reliable for us to get a grant from. If we were Raleigh or Durham or someplace like that, we'd have a better chance, but we're not, so. But that doesn't mean we can't ask them. Commissioner Albright.
No questions?
Commissioner Kuczynski.
So the LAP project, the LAP grant won't be available till 2027, and funding won't be provided till 2028. So that's the tax on the LAP grant, just so you know. Carl, great presentation, as always. Thank you for all the research that you've done on all these, and I value your opinion greatly.
Mayor Pro Tem.
The only question I have is, and I guess to both of you, to go for LAP funding, do you need much better engineering drawings? We gotta spend thousands of dollars to have the engineering drawings. So we have to take these projects and first of all, pick a favorite or whatever, because to do engineering for all of these projects would be an exorbitant amount of money. So we look forward to a lot more discussion on this.
That's definitely the next step. The 12 that were identified will whittle down to 4 for the feasibility study. Then if 1 or 2 for final design, we're going to proceed with the grant request.
Thanks.
Now, have I missed any, Commissioner Wilkins?
Didn't we have them in sequential order of importance when we did it originally? I thought we did.
I'm not aware of them being in any order, just, I mean, the segments were numbered randomly, 1 through 12, and it just sort of, I think, luck that 7, 8, 9, and 10 happened to be in a row. I don't think we numbered them in any particular way.
Did that answer your question?
Yes, it did.
Okay. Did I miss anybody? Don't think so. Carl, as always, I am impressed. You did an excellent job. Thank you very much for your time and effort. All right, we move down now to item 12, City Manager's Report.
Thank you, Mr. Mayor, Commissioners, Mayor Pro Tem. Saturday, September the 20th, 2025 was a beautiful day for the 32nd Annual Creedmoor Music Festival. To date, you should have received an invitation to give comments on an after-action review of how you think the event went. Things you like about it, let us know. Things you think we should change or add, let us know, please. The weather was cooperative and the event was well attended.
You're leaving already? Reading's not over.
I want to publicly express my appreciation to all city employees and elected officials who worked assigned portions of the event throughout the day from 6 a.m. until 7 p.m. And especially our events coordinator, Ms. Angie Ferry, and other members of the Creedmoor Music Festival Planning Committee, Sarah Spruill, Rebecca Middleton, Steve Edwards, Philip Howell, Chief Willis, Lieutenant Seth Bryant, and Cameron Thorpe. And item number 2, speaking of Cameron, and I know everybody knows Cameron. If you walk through the front door, that's the first person you're going to see at the city desk. Cameron is our front desk administrative assistant at City Hall, and I am very happy to announce that Cameron just completed his master's degree. After graduating from Granville Early College and during his senior year at North Carolina Central University, Cameron joined the city of Creedmoor on October the 21st, 2021 as an intern during his last semester before graduating with a Bachelor of Science degree. And after a lot of hard work, he recently graduated from Southern New Hampshire University and received his master's degree in business administration. So we'd like to say congratulations to Cameron. We're very proud of you.
Yes, sir.
This isn't gonna mean we gotta give him a raise.
We already have.
Absolutely.
Right. I would also like to thank everyone who donated to the County Leadership Granville Class Food Project, food drive for the area congregations in ministry, better known as ACIM. The drop-off point will be available at City Hall through Friday, October the 31st for anyone who wants to make more contributions. The VC3 executive summary for the month ending September 30, 2025 reported 73 work orders open and 67 closed. And finally, the Granville County School System has given their permission for water samples to be taken from South Granville High School and Mount Energy Elementary for the next round of testing in November. One local daycare I reached out to opted to pass on the invitation, but we will find others to participate. So, Mr. Mayor, that concludes my comments, subject to your board's questions.
Is there any questions for the city manager?
Didn't the mayor volunteer to have his house tested?
He did.
And still will.
So we're up
if
to
they need
4.
them to. All right, we move down to, thank you, Mike.
Yes, sir.
Busy schedule there. All right, we move now to Sigwassa report. Whoever would like to give that.
Members of the board, if you would, I don't know if you've had a chance to check your email, but the executive director did forward out his executive director summary for the month, and I have forwarded it on to you guys. I have not had a chance to read it in its entirety, as I forwarded as soon as I got it. I can tell you that the filter media replacement is on track, and hopefully when the material starts coming in, it should be started hopefully in the next few weeks, and that's one of the biggest things. We should be getting a report for the finalized version of what option to use for the PFAS mediation that's coming out of the water that's coming into the water treatment plant. And maybe we can hopefully have a report back to you for the next meeting on what was the best option for us as determined by our company that we're using. Those are the highlights that I have for you right now. Does anyone have any questions or anything I need to take back?
Commissioner Kaczynski, before we do questions, have you got anything to add to that? Any questions? Commissioner Wilkins?
No, sir.
Commissioner Albright?
I was just glad to see that there was a lot of green dots, which means things are on task and moving ahead. So I was excited to see that.
Thank you for reading.
You're welcome. You're welcome. I do.
I will point out one of the most questioned items is the I-85 project dealing with the sewer infrastructure improvements. The option number 2 or plan number 2 for the interceptor is about $8 million over the projected budget. So at this time, they're trying to see how we want to approach that, and it may go out to rebid. Also a scaled down version of that second option. The first option that is going on right now predominantly deals with us in Creedmoor as it relates to the new building of our Joe P. sewer lift station. So that's one positive aspect, that we were included in the first tranche of funding. So,
Mayor Pro Tem, any questions? And I think, they were at the meeting, so I don't need to ask. All right. That's SIGWAS report. Commissioner's report. Commissioner Wilkins, since you've been a big help tonight, I'm gonna let you start.
Some things are rare. So each month we report on what we have or have not done since the previous meeting, and that's certainly the most important and it's traditional. However, tonight I want to focus on the type of commissioner I want to strive to be. A commissioner who serves. Service is regarded as a central mission. And as always, I draw from the Bible, from the book of Micah, chapter 6, verse 8, which says, He has showed me, O man, what is good. What does the Lord require of thee? But to do justly, to love mercy, to walk humbly with God. And from the New Testament, 1 John 3:18, which says, Let us not love in word or speech, but in action and in truth. My role as a commissioner, along with any other related services, is better represented by actions rather than words. The initial three words of the preamble to the U.S. Constitution say, We, the people. It was crafted by the nation's founders to signify that governmental authority is derived from the citizens of the United States. So I always want to prioritize my service through my actions and not by division. I always treat colleagues and citizens with respect, and that is consistently the individual I aspire to be. That's my report, Mr. Mayor.
Thank you, sir. Move now to Commissioner Albright.
I just wanted to say that the music festival was a lot of fun. We had a lot of good bands, a lot of good food, and I'm looking forward to National Night Out tomorrow with those of you that can attend with me, and Crime Stoppers, our next little gala.
Thank you, ma'am. Commissioner Way. Thank you. Commissioner Kuczynski.
I attended the Campo meeting this month and listened to all the wonderful plans for the new transit system in Raleigh. And as Commissioner May has said, that we're just a little Granville County, and Wake County and Durham County usually get most of the attention. So for Campo to give us any money and to start this North Falls Lake study that's going to cost $300,000 is amazing. The UNERVA meeting was interesting. A lot of stuff going on where we're waiting for the Falls Lake rules number 2, which was supposed to be done in January, and DEQ is holding back on making that announcement. I feel that the reason is the home builders that are in our House of Representatives, because as I drive down Brogdon roads from the Harris Teeter, I see numerous houses being built, and I personally, and stated it at the meeting, that the home builders are trying to get as many houses built as they can while the rules are still at 1 before the second stage of rules go into effect, and they have to change the way they do things. But they've told me that the building rules are still the same building rules and nothing's been violated. The music festival, again, was wonderful. The weather was amazing that day. I was lucky enough to almost watch Mr. Downey go into the tank. I did watch several firefighters go into the tank. I saw our lieutenant go into the tank, and it was the seat was not reconnecting the way it would have. Chief, you would have loved it, so would have I. I would have never figured out how to fix the seat. I would just stood in there and said, throw all the balls you want, nothing's happening. But I know that anybody who went in that tank with the heat that day was very grateful to get in that water. It seemed like everybody was having a good time. The turkey legs for $20, in my opinion. I could have bought a turkey and stuffing and cooked it for $20, but that's the price they had. And I did hear some complaints about how much it was, and I told them we had nothing to do with it. attended the Cartar Council of Government dinner, which was very well attended, and the food was really good that night. And Vicki Daniels was our local leader that got awarded, and the new chair for the Cartar Council, it was like knowing a superstar. It was our own finance director's mother, Mrs. Payne. She's the new chair for the Cartar Council, and she did a wonderful speech and wanted to know from Lee, where were the grandchildren? They weren't there to celebrate. And all he kept doing was shaking his head no. So, great meeting tonight, great information from everybody. Chief, I have a question. I will not be at the National Night Out tomorrow night. So I was wondering, is our K-9 doing the K-9 demonstration tomorrow night, since we're hosting the National Night Out in Creedmoor?
Absolutely, no.
I'm sorry?
Absolutely.
Oh, he is doing it? Can somebody videotape it for me, please? Because I'd love to see it. I'm sorry, I'm gonna miss it.
She made for us.
Oh, yeah, I'm sorry. Archer won't be there either. I'm sorry. We have a conference to go to, so, thank you. I appreciate it.
Mayor Pro Tem.
It's been a while since I wrote this, so I'm not sure if I can even read my own writing. Again, the music festival was a great success. I did attend the Infrastructure and Economic Development Summit in Butner, talking about our water and wastewater, which is the foundation of our growth and how it affects our city. I did go to the Seguasa Finance Committee meeting and learned a lot. Then I made some remarks that I think were concerning to the executive director. And fortunately, I was able a couple days later to have a Zoom meeting with our city manager, Commissioner Kaczynski, and the mayor, and the executive director and the engineer, to find out that my concerns about the way they were appropriating money and maybe had to hold up on certain parts of the thing because of the need of cash, I was concerned. Well, my concerns were alleviated at that meeting, that our section that needs to be connecting Joe P. Road, new pump station to the 85 sewer bypass is going to be done on schedule and should be done by sometime late '27 or early '28. I went to the kickoff of the new county litter sweep, which was held Saturday morning in Butner. I'm going to the Crime Stoppers dinner. Unfortunately, the night of the Cartar meeting, dinner, which I normally, my wife and I love to enjoy, I got stuck on a phone call with a customer from England and I couldn't get off the phone. So I missed the banquet. I will make the Crime Stoppers banquet. And I think I went to the planning board meeting also. That's it.
Okay, thank you, sir. Mayor's report. My problem is I got so many things I don't even bother to write them down. Then I try to remember them tonight, and that gets me behind. Went to the Cartar banquet, and I will mention that Southern Granville County was well represented. And with Vicki Daniels receiving the award for Outstanding Municipal and Elected Official, it made 3 years in a row that our end of the county has won that award, and that says a lot for all of us. Music festival was great. Grace Lucia, which started it off first thing that morning. Young lady is a favorite of mine when she first started. She came to, the first one she did was 3 or 4 years ago, and she just gets better every time. I'm going to the same meeting they are going to, but I'm going to be here because Angie would hang me out to dry if I didn't show up. So I'll be at the National Night Out, but we'll be leaving the next morning for the Winston-Salem workshop. Did the meeting with the CDO. We attended a DEQ wastewater event. All of you should have gotten the handout that we got, just so that you were familiar with part of what they were talking about. I also was in Asheville with the North Carolina League of Municipalities Mayors Association. I serve on their board of directors. We had a panel discussion with the mayor, city manager, city attorney, assistant fire chief, and the waterworks executive with the city of Asheville that went over the details that they encountered once Helene went through, found that that was just amazing what a city can do when the emergency hits. Let's see. Butler's got to meet the candidates night coming up, and we have one later on. Let's see if I've got anything else I can throw in there. I think that's enough for right now that I can think of. Anyway, it stayed busy, but it's always a pleasure to serve the citizens of the city of Creedmoor. City manager.
Just people to know that I have pictures of us getting some cookies tonight. So the bottom line is, will be posted on Facebook because we were told that a couple of us were dinosaurs here and we're looking for cookies, more cookies. Well, we had our cookies tonight and I'll post a picture of them on Facebook to see.
And just for the record, I do not eat all the cookies.
Yes, you do.
You take some of them home, but I don't eat them all.
Yes, he does.
All right. At this time, Commissioner Way.
Sir, I was just gonna ask if we could recess for 5 minutes.
Oh, well,
Are we gonna ask the same
we're
thing?
ready to go to closed session. We will recess before that. All right. Mayor Pro Tem,
Make a motion to go into closed session.
all those in favor say aye.
Aye.
Opposed, no. We are going into closed session.
Go ahead.
I'll go that one.
Boys.
Oh my God. Like ladies go to the restroom together and all your boys are figuring out which one of you are all going to.
I'm afraid to go. I wouldn't get out.
I just knew somebody had to go. I'm good. I just knew somebody had to go.
Archer had already whispered to me several times about.
I'm sure she needed to.
That's one thing I felt working at the drugstore, because I started at 8:30, I finished at 7. There wasn't no time to go to the bathroom or eat lunch or anything. So my wife will be driving through the village now. She said, I got to stop. No, I'm good.
See that?
Glad you got a chance to see all of them.
Outstanding master of
Very good. Very nice.
Are you good with We appreciate it. Yes, sir. We appreciate it. Yes, sir. Hey, don't sit there.
Sarah, thank you for supper tonight.
I'm doing the Laura thing.
Well, she is who I reached out to, but don't blame her.
I still don't blame her.
Oh, and we hope you feel better real soon.
Thanks, sir.
Yes,
Appreciate it.
yes.
Thank y'all. Have a good night.
Yes, thank you.
I told you that I had nothing to do with it.
You got that on?
Chief, I'm glad you got those, whippersnappers that blew by my house at 1:05 in the morning. That's a little concerning. See that little friend of yours that's sitting on everything? I have one of those that sits on my dresser.
Absolutely.
Right beside my bed. And get a little nervous when I read something like that when you say, and I'm glad you all are up taking care of me, but I wish you didn't have to do those things.
That's what we're here for. All right, give me some good, man. I just found my thief.
Somebody called and told us.
Did they really?
Check
Is
that
he
out.
out in Durham? They live in Durham?
He's,